Let's grab the set here again. We're looking over this way, and there's a reason why. Sorry about the frame rate running slow, but I've got a complicated machine, and the complicated machine kind of drags things down a bit. More complicated the construction, it seems to drop the frame rate, at least for me anyway. So we're going to turn around here, and what's this? Caution, automated facilities, danger, construction zone. Okay, we have a switch, and we have this thing with 6 seats, sorry. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to zoom out and look from the top. It's actually a lift. It's a powered lift, and we've got up and we've got down. I'm using an electric motor, and I saw this done by another YouTube user called Tetrajack, and I thought, well, I could do that, but I could do that to the extreme. And I figured out how to also get the lift to stay at the top of the shaft, top of the lift component. So let's get up there. It's slow. There's a reason why it's slow. If you go too fast, it kind of pushes it off. And you can see the pipes on the edge there behind it. And Tetrajack had the same thing. And that's pipes that have rollers on them, and the rollers kind of, so you kind of got a bearing and then you got a pipe attached to the bearing, and it kind of creates a roller, and it does help with the guiding of the lift. Alright, so let's get underway. It's a long trip up to the top, so maybe we'll speed this bit up a bit. Okay, back with us again as we come into the top. I think the H kind of gives away what might be up the top here. I'm very good at making circles, but it does the job. Let's just zoom out a little bit more. As you can see, when we're getting close, you can see the rollers are kind of working there. Sorry. Zoom out, but you can see the rollers are working. Okay, now the way to keep this up the top, we've got gates and everything. As you can see, we've got two bar looking things underneath. How I did this was with a sensor and that controller there, so then you can go, oops, did it too early. That waves over the sensor. You can see those two bars come in, and then we can disengage that, turn the motor off, and that's it. That keeps the lift up here, and we can kind of go in reverse down if we have to. But this is a helicopter. It's got a lot of connections, as you can see. It flies, does very reasonably well. It's modified from my original attempt. I used to just have a couple of thrusters under here for trying to create forward thrust, and just one thruster there and one thruster back here for changing the tilt forward and backwards, but that kind of didn't work because I had to weigh down the helicopter more just so I wasn't generating too much lift. Otherwise I ended up hitting the game ceiling pretty quickly. So, and these ones here, side thrusters, they're kind of side and well, basically they're tilt thrusters that stop sideways drift. They can also create sideways drift if you want. So you can use them to drift sideways if you need to. You can use them to adjust stuff when you're to adjust your tilt angle on the sideways axis when you're using the front and back thrusters here to turn. Alright, let's get in and start it up. So this is quite louder than I thought it was, so I'm having to record this again afterwards. So thrust, as you can see, we generate enough thrust, and we can use the sideways thrusters to adjust the tilt. We can also turn us around, use the rear and front and rear thrusters to adjust the angle. Swing us around a bit in a second here. So I've muted out the original audio here, so anyway, I'm just going to go off what I can remember saying. So swing us around, you can adjust the angle. Adjusting the angle kind of creates a bit more forward motion, so you don't have to use the forward thrusters as often. And we will come in to land here, and at some point we'll come into land. Sorry about that, I wasn't expected there. And yeah, so you can use the tilt thrusters for tilting the aircraft or the helicopter forwards and backwards, and those side ones to adjust the drift or to create drift, as I said before. As you can see, it's perfectly steerable. It's not the easiest thing to land. It's harder to land on a dime, but yeah, when you're going down, you will generate. Basically, you just turn off the main thrusters, and that's how you come into land. That's the easiest way to do it. And we'll be joining the audio again in a moment. Yeah, by the tree there. But yeah, that's it. Just a bit more, bring us back so we're on steady ground. Originally with this, the landing struts, I just had it stiff landing struts, and then I thought, oh bugger it, I'm just going to put shock absorbers on there instead, and that kind of lessens the impact. So it kind of makes for a little bit gentler landing, if you like. But yeah, that's the helicopter. And just do that. Turn us around. Yeah, so a fully functional helicopter, it's easy enough to fly. We've got a bit of forward thrust if you need to do forward motion. You kind of just, if you want to go down, you just sort of increase here, disengage thrust. It's the easiest way I figured to do this. It's still a little bit difficult to control this. It's not as precise, and I'd like to sort of create something more precise as possible. And I'm still working on something like that in another game world. But hopefully, you can copy this kind of design. And what you kind of have to realise too when you're doing helicopters is you need to weigh these things evenly for the thrust to work the best. I found that out the hard way. The first helicopter I created just did a backward somersault straight from takeoff. So I've crashed into this tower a few times trying to come into land here. you go. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll give you, actually before we go, I'll give you one last look at the setup here. So you can see from the seat we've got access to that thruster, that thruster, that thruster. We've linked the buttons for all of these thrusters. The rotor thrusters are connected to another button, and angling things like this straight off, there's no easy way to do it in Scrap Mechanic apart from using a controller. So you'd stick a controller in, you'd put your bearings when you're building it, then you'd angle the bearings as you need. So for the default positions, and then that's it. You don't have to do anything else, they stay in the default positions. You can do that with any kind of suspension, but you know, to create suspension for cars and stuff like that, but you can do it on this one here. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching this, and if you've got any suggestions for machines you'd like me to make or other things you'd like me to try, just leave me a comment and I'll get to it and see if I can do it. The only problem is now my lift is all the way up there, but when you exit and restart, it resets everything, so my lift will end up down there anyway. But if you can get yourself back up there, you can come down in the lift. It's just basically a reverse of that. I'd engage upwards motion, disengage the arm that triggers the sensor so that those two bars there would unlock. And then I did engage the downwards wheel and disengage the upwards wheel, and then that would come down. It comes down slightly faster rate, brings you back down here. Until next time, Scrap Mechanics.